Hello, fellow African. This is a party two. This is a session, a second session from the where we stop. I mean, from the previous session, and well, we're not going to take too much time, but we will carry on. Where we end up to the first session that I was about to ask my friend the question. Two question was remaining, and then he can have the floor. The whole floor is his now, and after when I finish to ask him this question. Right, I turn back to you, my friend. Uh, my question, the question number one, the destiny of Africa. Where do you see the Africa future?
Africa's future at the moment, I see a lot of Western influence coming into Africa in terms of like business. It's really happening. Businesses, investments, so they call it. And I don't see it in the hands of the African. If you
And,
ask me that.
this investors or investment they call themselves,
Mm.
is it for better or it will make the situation to be worse?
It's for the betterment of themselves. So it's not for the betterment of the African. You know, like I always said in the last clip about investment, investment should be bettering the people, you know, as well as the investor should get a percentage, a comeback, a return, but it should also benefit where the investment is going. So if these investors have been investing in Africa for so long, and we still don't see improvement in whether it be our social structure, you know, our financial structure, our import export, we still don't see how is that an investment. So that's what we need to ask ourselves: what is an investor? Because they're buying up Africa. That's what they're doing. They're buying Africa.
So the word investment or investors is
It's
just
buying.
it's
Buying.
just
The wool,
The wool,
to,
exactly.
to hide everything. You know, it's just the wool. No, I don't see any investment in Africa. Most of them, they invest in these corrupt governments. And me and you know the corrupt governments, you might as well not invest. If you know they're corrupt, why are you going to invest in them? You know?
you don't need.
You don't, so that means you're giving them money to just spend. And still, you're not giving the money to the actual individual African. You know? If they were investing, do you know what an investment would have done? Someone like Shell, who gets so much oil from Nigeria, would have opened up refineries in Nigeria. Lots of them. Not even, they wouldn't have even bothered to bring oil here to refine it. Would have opened up lots in because why are you going to spend that money to transport the oil unrefined, which is money you're spending, to overseas, then refine it? That money you're going to spend to transport it, just leave it there and bring your machinery there and give local people jobs. Refining oil. You would have taught millions of Nigerians by now how to refine oil. Yes? And then they would have even started doing their companies. Gold in Ghana. Bring these machines, refine in Ghana. Don't let them do galamsey. Don't let the Chinese come buy land and then coerce the people to do galamsey and do dangerous ways of getting gold. When me and you know there's safe ways to get gold. Open gold factories in Ghana, many of them, and give the local Ghanaian jobs
So
if you're the investor.
at least if you do that, you help other people, the Ghanaian people, to get job.
If you do that, you help the country.
You help the country in general. And also you educate those people.
You educate those people, and that's something the European does not want to do. That's why it's been doing Africa the way it's been doing, taking the stuff out, making it over here, and then selling back Africans mobile phones. Africans don't make mobile phones, but most of the materials used to make mobile phones come from Africa. And when you go to Africa, we love mobile phones.
We see like something that is very special.
Why is there no warehouse in Africa putting together mobile phones? Because then it will make the African not care about a mobile phone. Like the Chinaman doesn't care about a mobile phone. Like the Chinaman doesn't care about because it's made at his home. They don't want the African man. They want the African man to care so it can be brought back to the African man.
And sell it and make money from there. I get it.
No. The Chinaman doesn't care about things that they make at home. Why would you care about things you make at home? If you make cassava, you make
Yum.
yam, you make anything, you make paper at your house, then I come to you, try to sell you paper. Are you gonna buy it?
No, I won't.
You'd be a fool to buy it.
I won't. It's true.
You'd be a fool to buy it because you will make it. That's why the European doesn't want Africans to make anything, because then we won't need it, and we'll see that, hold up, you're taking it, we're making it, it's being dug here, it's being made here.
No.
Why are we not seeing benefits of it? That's
And
when
even
African
themselves, if we do everything by ourselves, they won't find themselves nowhere.
then all they'll do have to buy. If we do everything, if you come to Africa, the gold is dug up, refined, polished, made into jewelry. You can only bring money to buy or to export. You know, if you come
That's
to Africa, yeah, we've got salt, refined, packaged, sealed, made in Africa. What are you coming to do? To buy.
Exactly.
But when we have it under the ground, and we're constantly screaming, we have it underground. Yeah, somebody will come, because one second, you come and see that you don't know how to make it maybe into a little packet. And they'll come take it, tell you, foolish, I'll make it to a packet and bring it back to you. And said, that's what's happening right now. We can grow rice.
Right.
We're the biggest importer of rice in Africa.
That's brilliant. Okay, we're gonna have a short break for 1 second. I think is anyone not? Maybe.
Yeah. Someone,
Okay. Right. While when we prepare ourselves, I'm gonna allow my friend, because we have another visitor comes in, but it's not gonna be the part of the program, but we allow another visitor to come in the studio, and then we will carry on with the program. And I think just for 1 second, I'll be back in a short while. Carry on.
Yeah.
Keep on telling them.
So, basically, it's like Africa as a continent, my brothers and sisters. We need to love it. We need to love it, we need to appreciate it, and we need to start using it and pushing it to the rest of the world, as opposed to letting the rest of the world dictate to us what we need to do. How is another man going to dictate to you what Africa needs to do when he's never been to Africa, or he's never respected Africa? How is he going to tell you what an African man needs to do? How? It's impossible.
Right. I think for this moment that he shared with you some few things, but also we are jumping to the second question, and this question is now, what Africa should do to secure their future?
Africans need to start loving Africans the way America loves America. The way Americans, you see people go to America, yeah? People who are not American of birth, Irish people, black people, Jamaican people, whatever, and America can make them feel like they're part of America, which they're willing to go war for America, die for America. It might be a brainwash thing, it might be whatever it may be, but Africans need to start feeling like that about Africa. Black people all over the world need to start feeling like that about Africa, because they're the same thing. If you don't respect something, you don't love something, it will get stolen. I see Africans are being made into the new African. Black people are being made into the new black person, who's not even a black person, who's not even an African. He's just a child of a white man, which means you're a child of a white man, which means you think, you move, and you do everything the European would do. Per se, like I said about Africa, we our dress code, we value ties, suits. I'm not saying don't value, but why do we see that as executive? That's because the Europeans said it's executive. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm from, we wear kente. Our kings wear kente and they droop it over there. That's executive. know what I'm saying? So how has their executive now become our executive? You're brainwashed. You know what I'm saying? You're brainwashed, and then you're accepting somebody else's lifestyle, somebody else's culture. So therefore you cannot love your culture. And your culture, where is it? It's being left to one side for somebody else to come and steal it. You know what I mean? So no problem, he's stealing it. He'll greatly steal it for you, but he will not give it to you how it's supposed to be. Therefore, the white man will not come and take something and tell you is this. He will not tell you that your ancestors gave it to me. You know what I'm saying? He will not take all these sciences, all these things about the moons, the stars and all that they found in ancient Kemet, in the tombs of pharaohs. They will not tell you all these things that they found are from there. Now today they have maths, they have science, they have, which apparently their forefathers, Thomas Edison, all these people created all these things. But why didn't they tell you that they got it from Kemet, ancient Kemet? Why didn't they tell you it was in the tombs? Because that's where it originated from. So that's what they're going to do in the future. That's what they're going to do. All the things that you are disrespecting right now, wearing their ties and disrespecting your kente cloth and all these things, these are what they're going to revamp and bring back to you. You know what I'm saying? But then by the time in 100 years, you would have forgotten about it. Yeah, your mind would have forgotten about it. Hence, the African American, whatever he wants to call himself, Kunta Kinte is your forefather, wanting to go back to Africa. Yeah, we've all seen the film Roots. You have a passport now. Go back to Africa, but you don't want to go. You're mentally enslaved. I'm telling you, you're mentally enslaved because you know why? You think that their streets, their paving, their Western world is the bee's knees, is the best you can ever go. And when you see Africa, you see Oxfam adverts, you think it's the lowest of the low. Okay, cool, yeah. You've been consumed, yeah? Kunta Kinte is spinning in his grave. All your forefathers spinning in their grave looking at you thinking you're the child of a white man. You're the product of a white man. That's what he wanted for you. That's it. Africa will not change by us following another race who do not know what Africa is supposed to be. How? How do you follow another person who's not African, who doesn't know our culture, doesn't know who doesn't even understand it, doesn't want to understand it? When he came to Africa, they didn't want to understand it. They didn't come and ask our forefathers, oh, is this what you're doing? How's this being done? They didn't want to. And just told you this is barbaric, this is animalistic, you're not civilized, and just overthrew it, wiped it out. How are we following this person thinking that we're going to know anything about Africa?
Very hard. It's very, very hard.
No, so what we need to do, we need to start going back to Africa. We need to do soul searching. Like I'm saying, I can't remember the last book I read written by a black man talking about black history. That's deep. That's what we need. We need a book. We need some black man to go out there and research about black history. You know what I'm saying? As deep as these Europeans research about their history, you know, and put it out there. You know,
and also, without forgetting, we play our part. We play our part to deliver the message to anyone who listens. And also, it's time for everyone to take the part now. Because as my colleagues say, look like Chinese. They love their food. They love their culture. And why not you as a Ghanaian? Why not you as a Kenyan? Why not you as a Tanzania? Why you do not want to follow your culture? Why you don't want to love your thing?
Why do you want to do? Let me tell you that. Why do you want to? The reason that the Chinese are blowing up here because they're doing something different. We all cannot be European. It just makes the world Europe. It makes the world boring, bland. You know. People, we like different stuff. We're evolving beings, humans, we evolve. You know, like, when you learn to walk, you want to run. When you learn to run, you want to fly. You know, that's humans.
It's true.
You don't want to keep running. You're saying, you don't want to keep walking.
You see, you have to
the mind, that's the mind.
Yeah.
We need differences. We need differences. Yeah, so be proud of your difference. Let the European man be proud of his difference, which he should be. Let the China man be proud of his difference, which he should be. And let the African man be proud of his difference, which he should be. Simple. Just be proud of it. When you're proud of a European man's difference, you can be proud, but it's not you. Know that. It's not you. So you might walk down the end of the tunnel and be lost. Because you're going a way that you're not headed towards home, basically. you're going away.
It's true.
Yeah? So keep going away. Keep going away. Keep going away. Keep going away.
Exactly.
You be lost. And by the time you're as far as you think you've reached in Europe, you realize that you're still not comfortable. You still have to come back home. But you know what? Your journey will be longer to come back than it will be when you were going there. You know?
Right. I would love to thank my colleagues that they are in today, and definitely from today we just end up of our topic about the money and the slaveness, all these kind of business that they've been created to slave Africa. And what will come next? We have a lot of things that we need to open up your mind, brothers and sisters. And we have another program on the next view that we're going to discuss about there's a new things now comes in Africa about the farming and the food that we produce from Africa. Plantation, exactly. And now they come with this system called GM,
genetically modified foods. GM
exactly.
foods.
Those kind of seed that now, if you go to Africa, they're everywhere.
They're trying to push.
And they've tried to promote it, the African people, to have those seed from them. One thing, African fellow, you need to understand. African, they start to grow food than any other man, than any other continent in the world.
The first.
So how come you are the legend? Allow someone else who come after you to tell you what to do right now.
Tell you that this is the food.
Do not allow that. That will be the next discussion. So I want you to bear with me. In the next 1 week, we'll come back here and tell you exactly, because we need to do a research and we are ready to compete with anybody who come and have against who had a different idea than the one that we have. So we put our documentation on the table, and whatever you are, the white people, black people who are defending this kind of seed that will be provided in Africa, while we say no, come with it. Then we'll meet on the table. Then we're going to have a very good discussion together. Right?
And brothers and sisters, what I would like to do for my brothers, I want people to start naming start the best thing in your country. I want to know about it. Like in Ghana, I'll say best thing in my country, we have jollof rice. A lot of people know what jollof rice is. We have the kente material. You know what I'm saying? We have the Akan people. You know what I'm saying? We have whatever you remember about your country, remember it and keep that alive. Because who's going to keep it alive? Who? Who's going to come over England and tell them about the Ashanti people? Show them about jollof. Who?
Nobody.
So you waiting for some Chinese man to put jollof in Sainsbury's, to put your foods in Sainsbury's, and then you sit there and think about, because they will do it, because it's different. So you do it. Sisters from Kenya who can cook, go to Sainsbury's, tell them there's enough Kenyans in Europe to want that dish. We don't need it in a restaurant. We need it in Sainsbury's. We need it in Asda. Yes, so I'm just giving you business modules. Go, all your African traditional wear, traditional thing that's not in this country, bring it. Your art, everything, bring it. Because it's not here and it's different. Yeah?
Right, thank you very much, dear brothers and viewers. And definitely we'll be back in the next few days. So we'll come back with that session. For today, I'll say we love you all and take care for yourself. Thank you very much.
Peace be to the motherland.